Hello, everyone. Well, I figured something out that's like super simple, but since synthesizers like Serum and Wavetable synthesizers like Massive and stuff like that becoming really popular, I just want to let everyone know that there's a really simple way to do it inside of Reaktor. What you're gonna need to do is it's all inside of core. Here. You're gonna have to see a scope to see what's happening. If you don't know the basics about Reaktor, then you're probably not gonna understand this video. So if you don't know the basics, learn them. So just to get a hold of understanding how audio information is sent through Reaktor, if I put a constant, can I put a constant here? I think I can. Put a constant of 1 right here. See, it goes to 1. Constant of 0 goes to 0. Constant of -1 goes to -1. So what's happening here is that's just simply the amplitude, and basically just by putting numbers through Reaktor you can control how loud a signal goes through. I'm not exactly sure. It kind of confuses me, but hang in there. So what you can do, crap, I just spilled some of my water. This is really simple too. I've never seen anybody do this when it's really simple to do. Hang on. So I'm just going to connect a scope to this so you can see what's going on when I start doing something. So first you're going to need to make a counter. So to make a counter you need a read and write module. And this counter is going to activate at the tick of the sample rate. No, I'm sorry, not the sample rate, the sample rate clock. So every time the sample rate updates, it's going to activate the counter. So how you do that, hang on, let me attach these two. So before I even do that, let's just make a counter. So you would do that just by having an add module, and you put this in, you add it to 1, and bam. Wait, whoops, you gotta connect this, and bam, you have a counter. Hang on, but let me make some quick buses. Name this index. Whoops. It's gonna be a long video. Just realized that. Okay, so bam. There's the counter right there. And then you this is the clock for the counter, so all you do, connect it to sample rate clock. Bam. Now to demonstrate what this is doing, I can just put this to the index. Actually, I need a numeric readout so you can see. Because the scope is just going to have a line going up and then it's going to stop. You'll see. So if I connect this to index, it just counts upwards. And every tick of the clock, it just adds the sample rate every second. So 44,100 every second that passes by. So what you want to do is divide the index by the sample rate. Whoops. Whoops. And what that'll do is give you the time in seconds. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now what this is actually doing, this is actually, if you put this through the audio outputs, which I'm not going to do because it wouldn't sound good, it's just constantly increasing in amplitude, which means this would be like way in the red and super loud, I believe. I'm not 100% sure what that would do. I don't want to test it out and mess up my speakers. So what we want to do, let's make a wavetable that goes from a sawtooth to a square. Sawtooth is really, really easy to make in Core. So what you do is every time it goes through the cycle and it keeps counting. Let me stop this. This is actually annoying me. Once it gets to, how do I explain this? Once it gets to 1, have it go back to 0. So it'll be like, it'll count up to 1 in decimal values, and then it'll go back to 0. And then it'll go to 1, and then it'll go back to 0. Which essentially will make a sawtooth wave, because it's going to increase, then instantly drop to 0. Increase, instantly drop to 0. I'm drawing it with my mouse. I don't know. Yeah. You know what a sawtooth wave looks like, at least I hope. So I do that. Oops. Compare. So what if it's greater than or equal to 1? Need a router. If it's greater than or equal to 1. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I'm just getting all the modules right now. So if it's greater than or equal to 1, it's going to go back to 0. Because what it does is it goes through here, it goes through the router. This is true and false. So when it's true, it's going to activate the clock in the latch, and then it's going to activate 0. And then when it's not, and then when it's false, it's going to start the counter over again, back from 0. That's all this is doing. So wait, let me actually make this. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make the. It has to be compared to this because this is time in seconds. That wouldn't work that way. So let's just put S for seconds. Whoops. So connect that to S. Now it should work. We have this the scope to check to see if it looks like a sawtooth wave. We're not done yet. We still have work to do, but just to check. So I can connect this to S or index. I don't know. No, I think it's that. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's working. It's going up. And what you'd want to do after this is actually here. Subtract. The amplitude is actually going to be a little less than the sawtooth or any. It's going to be one. I don't know. It's going to be a little less than any of the modules that come with Reaktor. The amplitude is, but it's not really that big of a deal. So connect it to a constant of 1. No, I'm sorry. 0.5. So it'll go up from gosh, dang it. It'll go up from 0.5 to negative 0.5. And then connect this to S so I can see it in the middle of the graph instead of it being on the top and just positive values from 0 to 1. So there we go. we have a sawtooth wave. But this sawtooth wave is extremely slow and we cannot control the pitch of it. So how we control the pitch is taking this right here and controlling the speed of it through primary. So let's remove this S, make this S now. And this will give us our hertz if we have a value here. But we need to convert it to we need to convert pitch to frequency, because in primary it'd probably be a lot better to use pitch instead. So we need a P to F. So now, as you can see, it has a value of 0 default, so that's why it's doing that. So now, actually, if I make a note pitch module, primary, it'll change the length of the sawtooth. And of course, it's going a lot faster, so we're going to need to change the time in our oscilloscope. And there we go. If you want to listen to it, hang on. We still need to make something for amplitude. So at the very end, you could make a multiplication module. Put it through here. Name this amplitude, or A for short. Actually, and then I need to name this P. Make a quick box. Let's connect to A. Now we can have a gate. So gate median. And then when we listen to it out, it should sound like a saw wave. You can even compare it to one of primary's saw waves, and it'll sound the same. Just the amplitude will be a little quieter. Actually, it might be the same. I'm not exactly sure of that. No, it's not. It's quieter. But yeah, it's exactly the same. Now the only difference between this and a square wave, this is really simple, is you want to round. So think about it. If there's values, actually, what are the, if there's values greater than 0, then it's just going to get rounded to 1. If there's there's values less than 0, it's just going to be rounded to -1. It makes a square wave. It's really simple. So what you can do is put the S here instead, and voila, square wave. And I can compare that too, if you want. Whoops. So we can compare right here. It sounds exactly the same. I really hear no difference. So what we want to do is that we know without this round there's a saw, and with this round it's a square. So what we want to do is get an X fade module to fade between those two. So I don't know, let's have the 1 value be square and the 0 value be the saw. And then this can be our wavetable right here. Just name it W. And then you put it in the place of that. Make a control for your core cell. And oh wait, hang on, let's make this value not -1. Let's make it 0. So there's our saw, and there's our square. And that's really all you gotta do. And I'm sure for other waveforms that aren't saw and that are a little more complicated than just saw and square, it take a little more work, but essentially, I mean, if you can get used to doing this, hey, it's simple enough. Just thought I'd show everyone that.